Let's see here. All right. So I just wanted to come in to give you guys some updates when it comes to Mission Dorothy, the podcast. And so basically, I know that I've been missing for a while, and I just wanted to come on to remind you guys to go and check out the new episodes. So I think I have about 4 or 5 new episodes. I think episodes 16 through 20. And I just wanted to come on just to kind of give you guys the premise to the last episode that I did, because I really think that episode were really, all the episodes are great, to keep it real. Like, I'm really working to give you guys the tools that you need in order to be able to live authentically. And I want you all to be able to be comfortable within your skin, right? I want you to know who you are. I want you to be confident in who you are. I want you to, understand the power of being able to walk into any room without feeling like you have to put on a mask, right? I want you to be able to be yourself all the time, right? It's not about trying to put on a mask, trying to fake it till you make it, trying to please other people. It's about you being comfortable in your skin, being comfortable with your voice, being comfortable with your thoughts, your decisions, right? And so the last couple of episodes that I've put on the podcast, episode 16 is where I'm covering an exercise that you guys can utilize in order to be able to assess your belief system, right? I want you guys to really sit and think about your belief system, because a lot of times we will leave our parents' home, and we just go on about our young life, right? We will go about our young life, and we will not think about the beliefs and the values that we've been taught by our parents, right? Now, some of you guys may have been, some of you guys may have been raised in a household where it was strict, right? And when you were young, and as soon as you got out of the house, you just got out there and you started wilding out, right? You worked to debunk, or you worked to buck the system, right? And the system is the beliefs and the values that you were taught as a child, right? You may have grew up in a religious household, which was a little bit too strict. You may have grew up with a parent who was helicopterish, right? And really didn't give you the space that you felt like you needed. And so therefore, as soon as you got out of the house, you went on ahead and you ran out into the world and just started living. But one of the things that I'm seeing, just a trend that I'm seeing with individuals is that a lot of people aren't aware of the negative beliefs, right? The negative beliefs and the negative values that they may hold that is no longer working in their life, right? And so a lot of times we really don't think about that until life hits us, right? Until something happens in life that makes us, kind of go inside, introspect, and take a look at us. And then we'll start to, kind of piece things together. Or if we're in therapy, and, the therapist may help you to be able to explore some of your, negative distortions, which are negative thoughts or beliefs that you've been carrying throughout your life, right? So these episode 16 is all about me working to get you guys to do a exercise that will help you to be able to assess your current beliefs and values that you currently stand on, or old beliefs and values that you no longer stand on, and they're just there kind of playing out in the background, which the background is your subconscious, right? It's your subconscious. And oftentimes when we are not aware of what we have stored in our subconscious, then it just plays out in your life. And then you're wondering why, you have certain habits, or you deal with things a certain way, or you feel a certain way about yourself, right? Some of that stuff is coming from your subconscious that you've never really cleaned out, you never really challenged, right? So episode 16, I have you doing a exercise where you are taking a look and you're taking stock of the negative thoughts, the negative beliefs and values that you may have learned from your parents, right? And, you know, a lot of times when I'm talking to some females, I can see that they were raised in a household that where parents only said, you know, basically say no to sex. Like, sex is dirty, say no to sex, you know, try to kind of avoid, you know, the whole dating situation and all of those types of things. And so then people, you know, it's like sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad, right? And so that can be one of those negative beliefs that you may have walked away with from your parents that you've never explored, right? You've never explored that belief. And when it comes to sex is bad, right? And so what I want you to understand is that if you walked away from your parents' house, right? If you walked away from your parents' home and you're out and you're living on your own, out in the world, experiencing life, growing, maturing, and doing what we do, then all of a sudden you end up in relationships. And for some reason in that intimacy area, you start to have issues. Right? And then this becomes a theme, right? It becomes a theme as far as you know, not being comfortable with intimacy. And not necessarily it has to be like butt naked sex intimacy. You know what I'm saying? It can really be just normal intimacy, right? Hey, boo. It can be normal intimacy. And so if you walked away from your parents' household with the idea or the belief that sex is bad, then here you are a young adult and you're out in this life and you start to get in relationships and you recognize that you're having issues with intimacy. Well, now you're trying to figure out, well, where is this coming from? Where it's coming from is coming from that core belief that you got from your parents that you never went back to check on. And so now here you are in your relationships and you're seeing this pattern as it relates to you not being able to be comfortable during intimate moments, whether it's butt naked intimacy or whether it is just intimacy, just that one-on-one time with you and your mate, and you know you don't know how to be intimate, such as, sometimes, you may want to caress your mate's face, or you may want to rub the back of his head, or, if he goes to touch you, if he put his hand on your knee, if he go to maybe rub your neck, and it's like you're moving because you're just not comfortable with touch. Why? Because it goes back to that negative belief of sex is bad, sex is bad. So in episode 16 of my podcast, I want you guys to complete the exercise. And what the exercise does is it helps you to go back and assess what are those beliefs and those values that you learned from your parents that you may want to keep or that you may want to no longer keep, right? So I ask that you get a sheet of paper and you draw 2 lines down the paper so you have 3 columns, right? And in the exercise, I'm asking that in column 1, you write out all the beliefs and values that you learned from your parents growing up, right? Beliefs and values when it comes to sex, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to relationships, finances, just different topics in life, right? And so I want you to write out all the beliefs and values that you learned from your parents in column 1. And then in column 2, I want you to write out the beliefs and values that you are currently walking in today, right? So kind of sit with yourself and just ask yourself right now, okay, here are the beliefs and the values. Here are the things that I stand on, right? That I'm walking in today. And then in that 3rd column, I want you to take the time to think about the beliefs and values that you want to live by moving forward, right? So as of today, you write out that list, and as of today, I am going to stand on these beliefs and values when it comes to my life, right? Because like I said, a lot of times we do not go back and assess our belief system. We don't. And then we wonder why we're behaving us away. Oftentimes I hear people say, I just don't feel like myself. I'm doing things that I never thought I would do. You think, right? Because as I stated earlier, subconsciously, a lot of times we're playing out subconscious pain that we have no idea we have, and we've stored it in our subconscious. And it's going to show up in your life in some form or fashion, whether it is in your relationships, whether it's with the relationship you have with yourself, whether it's in your behaviors or your decisions, right? And so I just thought that it would be really great to bring that exercise to you guys so that you can be able to sit and assess, what do I stand on? A lot of times people are like, well, I don't know my passion. I don't know what my purpose is. Well, first you got to know what you believe in. First, you have to know what you stand on. First, you have to know what is your integrity tied to, right? Beliefs and values. And as we get older, they are going to change. Right? And so oftentimes people will take what they learned from their parents, and they will just go about life and just continue to do what they've learned. But it's important for us, as we walk this journey of getting to authenticity and living authentically, we have to understand that it's important for us to think about us. It's important for us to utilize our own mind and come up with what we want for ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? Is that my poo-poo, Portia? If it is, hey boo. But it's important for us to really think with our own mind, right? Our parents do influence our lives, right? Sometimes positively and sometimes negatively. And so in that episode 16, it's very important for us to understand the power of being able to come into our own, right? And that means it's important for us to think about, what do I believe in? What do I stand on? What is important to me? What are my beliefs and what are my values? Not my parents, not my friends, not my man, not my chick, right? But what are my values? Okay, so please make sure you go and listen to episode 16. It's a short one. It's probably about 25 minutes or something like that. But I'm just kind of explaining to you what I'm saying now. And I'm working through, just trying to help you do the exercise so that you can start to explore. Our beliefs and our values is our foundation, right? And so it's important for us to take stock of our foundation, right? And so when we know where we come from, right? When we know what we believe in, when we know what we stand on, then we can stand strong. We can stand secure. We can stand more confident. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's very important for us to do that work. We can't just keep going about life and not giving our life thought. Like that's a train wreck. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very important to sit and do that assessment. Right? And so another update is, y'all, I just been uploading episodes. So I try to upload a new episode every Monday at 7 a.m. I think I might move it to every Monday at 7 p.m. But anywho, another good episode for you is episode 19. Now, this is the episode that I just released on this Monday coming up. But I also will be releasing part 2 of episode 19 on this Monday coming up. This Monday coming up. So the Monday that just passed, I did upload episode 19. Episode 19 is all about self-awareness. My God, y'all. Like, I cannot stress enough how important it is. If you feel like you don't know who you are, if you feel like you don't know yourself, if you feel that you're disconnected with yourself because you may have had some kind of trauma right? I'm sorry, let me adjust this phone here. But if you feel that you may have had some sort of trauma, it could be a breakup. A lot of things can cause you to disconnect from yourself, right? And so if you feel that you don't have a good grasp, and being able to answer the question, like, who am I? Then episode 19 is definitely for you. Okay. Episode 19 talks about self-awareness, and self-awareness is step 1 when it comes to getting to know yourself, because in order to know you, you have to be aware of your behaviors, right? You have to be aware of your behaviors and how you show up in this world. Right. And I'm going to be honest with you. Oftentimes it won't feel good. Right. Because episode 19, it forces you to look yourself in the face. I'm sorry, to look yourself in the mirror. And for you to be like honest with yourself. Right. You need to be honest with yourself about what you see. And so as you're working toward, living authentically, you want to be able to be clear about who you are, right? Because that's authenticity, right? Is, being the purest version of yourself, right? Is being 100% you. And so with episode 19, I'm talking about self-awareness, and I'm giving you the 5 elements of self-awareness. Great article that I found online on yourtrainingprovider.com. And it covered 5 elements of awareness. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And so I wanted to bring that to you guys, so that you can be able to do the work in order to get to know or reconnect with you. Throughout this journey, when it comes to authentic living, oftentimes people feel like, how do I say it? Like I said, basically just disconnected with yourself, right? Some people feel like they've never known their authentic self. And what happens is, we're birthed, right? We're birthed into this world. Our parents birthed us into this world, and we become a product of our environment. Some of us have fantastic environments. Some of us have mediocre environments. And some of us have absolutely toxic, dysfunctional environments, right? And we have to be mindful, because those environments can easily shape us. Now, granted, we are not where we come from. We are who we work to become. Right. And so what usually happens is, when you have trauma and you've been through a lot of things in your life, that stuff starts to stack up. Right. And it starts to pack. And what it does is it starts to cover up your authentic self. And now it's hiding you. Right. It's making you not know who you are. Right. So now here you are underneath all of these masks that you've had to create in order to, make it, through your environment, right? Defense mechanisms, right? You've created these masks as defense mechanisms so each time you're in a different place, a different group, you put on the mask to match that group, right? Then when you leave that group, you put on another mask, and then you go over to this group, here goes another mask. But the whole goal of life one of the goals of life satisfaction is to be able to live authentically, right? Is to be able to have a good grasp on who you are. And I mean, not just the good, but the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the fucked up. I'm just going to say it, right? And so with episode 19, I'm covering 5 elements of self-awareness. In that episode, we're talking about self-concept, right? Self-concept is how you perceive yourself, how you see yourself. We're also talking about your thoughts, getting to know your thoughts. Are your thoughts negative? Are they self-defeating? Do your thoughts promote negative behaviors, negative decision-making, right? Are your thoughts tied to your trauma? Or are your thoughts tied? That's a tongue twister there a little bit. Are your thoughts tied to your childhood? right? So you want to get to know your thoughts, right? You also want to get to know your feelings. How do you deal with your feelings, right? Like, how do you deal with your feelings? How do you express your feelings? Do you stack and pack your feelings, right? So we also talk about your body, right? We talk about your physiological response, right? I try to tell people, especially if you suffer with anger issues or anger outbursts, right? Oftentimes, before we become explosive, unless you have explosive disorder, oftentimes when we become explosive, somewhere along the line before explosive, maybe at agitated, maybe at irritated, maybe at mad, before you got too explosive, your body was telling you something. And a lot of times we don't slow down enough in order to be able to see the signs, right? Or listen to our body, right? And so what I mean by this is that physical response to an emotion. Okay? So this is your body. How does my body respond to emotions? Right? And we know, as they say, stress kills. And we all have to work in order to do better when we're dealing with stress. We got to do better when it comes to taking care of ourselves. I know I have a little work to do when it comes to me doing better when I'm stressed out. For some of us, when we're stressed out, we can't eat, we can't sleep. Some people turn to substances, And so when we talk about self-awareness and its connection to the body, we're talking about the emotional response that your body will say. So for some people, like when they get angry, right? So for some, you can go from 0 to 10, right? We all say, girl, I went from 0 to 10 and before I knew it, you know what I'm saying? Before I knew it, I went ham. But at the end of the day, you really probably didn't go from 0 to 10. Now, sometimes it depends on the situations. We can go from 0 to 10, right? I can go from hee hee ha ha to, beating on your head, right? And so, of course, we definitely don't want to have to go there. But there are some situations that can seriously take you from 0 to 10. But a lot of times, no. We may go from 0 to 5, right? And 5 is mad. But before you get to mad, you still got aggravated, frustrated, and irritated that is happening before you get to 5, which 5 is mad, 10 is explosive, right? And so a lot of times when we get irritated, when we get aggravated, we feel something in our body. I know for me, when I get irritated, it's in my gut. I'm a Virgo. So therefore, often Virgos, our emotions lie in our gut, right? And so we have to be mindful that, when we get upset, as they say, the gut houses our second brain, right? And so for me, when I get pissed, when I'm irritated and aggravated, it starts in my stomach. I start getting them little butterflies flying around, right? Them little butterflies in there like, me. Girl, we getting irritated now. We gonna have to walk away from this thing. We need to come on. Let's do some positive self-talk. We ain't gonna let this person get under our skin like as soon, because what we have to realize is that our body response, our physiological response to emotions, sometimes it happens first, and it's like a warning sign for us, right? And it can help us curve our anger. But we have to be intentional and conscious when our bodies send the signals, right? So for some people, like I said, for me, I get the butterflies in my stomach. But you have some individuals, especially those who may suffer with anxiety, who may start, that leg will start to shaking, right? That leg will get to shaking. Or for some people, they just become real fidgety, and it's like, right? Or it's like sometimes some people will go into deep breaths immediately, right? So as soon as your body give you that signal, it's time for you to utilize a coping mechanism. It's time for you to utilize a coping skill so that you don't get too explosive. So that's what it means when that body and self-awareness connection, right? And so that's the first the first four is your self-concept, how you see yourself as it relates to self-awareness, your thoughts and self-awareness. What are your thoughts like, right? When we talk about self-awareness, what are your feelings like? When we talk about self-awareness, what is your body saying? And lastly, when we talk about self-awareness, what you're doing with your emotions, right? And so those are the 5 elements when it comes to self-awareness, because we need to be mindful of how we deal in each one of these areas: your emotions, your body, your feelings, your thoughts, and your self-concept. Once you go through this exercise, I'm telling you, it is going to make a huge difference in your life, because it's going to bring you some aha moments, right? And so it's how do I say, it's a blessing to be able to complete these type of exercises, because it just makes you become closer to being your best self, which is your authentic self, right? And so in episode 19, I am going through each one of these 5 elements in detail, right? I'm giving you the questions that you need to ask yourself when it comes to each one of these elements. And then on this coming Monday, which will be the 19th, on the 19th, I'm releasing episode 20. In episode 20, I am giving you 10 strategies that you can implement in order to further your self-awareness journey, right? So you can take those 10 strategies and utilize them when you are working on these 5 elements of self-awareness. Okay? I'm telling you guys, those 2 episodes, like all the episodes on the podcast, is key. But episode 19 and 20 and 16 are episodes that are life-changing, right? And that's only if you participate in doing the exercises, being 100% honest with yourself. And I want you to dive deep, right? When you go through this and you start thinking about your self-concept and your perception of self, I want you to really be honest with yourself there, right? I want you to think about, how do you look? How do you see yourself? How do you perceive yourself? What is your perception of yourself? And that means that you're going to have to you need to look in the mirror, and you got to be honest about what's the goodness when it comes to you and the bad, right? Because this gives you the opportunity to identify the areas in your life that you do need to work on when it comes to self. This is about you. This is about you and nobody else. This is you walking your self journey, right? And so if you don't dive deep into the exercise, you're not going to get the full benefit. Okay? So I won't make this video too long. I just wanted to come on and just kind of give you guys an overview of the last couple of episodes that I've uploaded to the Mission Dorothy podcast. You can find the Mission Dorothy podcast on several, pretty much anywhere. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple. I think I'm on Stitcher, Podbean. So just go on there and you can find the podcast, Mission Dorothy, the podcast, and check me out. Check me out. I really work to bring you guys tools that you can use. I should have named the podcast the Toolbox, honestly, because I am giving you guys the tools that you need in order to get in contact for the first time or to regain connection with your authentic self. I want you to be who you're supposed to be, not who you've become because of your life situations, not trying to be somebody else. God, like, even twins have different fingerprints, okay? Even twins have different personalities. And so at the end of the day, the goal here is higher quality of life. And that is why I bring the tools that I bring to the podcast, because I really want you guys to have the best quality of life that you can have. COVID has really shown us that life is not long. And I hope that I hope that you guys have sat and really thought about what's really important. What's really important? Because a lot of this shit out here ain't important. A lot of this stuff that we've been focused on is not important. And I feel like that's why COVID happened, because God was trying to get us to stop idolizing all this BS out here. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I just want to try my best to help as many people as I can free themselves from inner bondage. Right? And whether that inner bondage was placed by you, or it was placed by your parents, or it was placed by your ex-boyfriend or your ex-husband or a stranger or the bully from 7th grade, like, I want you to be free of that. And the only way that you can be free is if you do the work. Right? So I'm going to go, but please check out the episodes, and I would love it if you guys could leave me a Apple review. That would be fantastic. I would really love to be able to see how the podcast is helping you along your journey to authenticity and to being your best self, right? So I would love to be able to read your comments on Apple as it relates to how the podcast is helping you in your day-to-day life. Also, you can check me out on Instagram under the name Mission Dorothy. And each week I post a picture of the episode cover. And you can always go under whichever episode cover and you can leave a comment about that episode as well. Okay. So I will definitely be looking for your reviews. And I really hope that this work that I'm doing is helpful. I hope the content is valuable to you guys in your lives. And that's all I got. Okay. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. And until next time, stay blessed and walk authentically. All right. Have a great one. Bye.